Maker, this is Claire from Eclair Makery, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to crochet the Your Everyday Plaid Hat pattern. This is a really simple, beginner-friendly crochet hat pattern that can be adjusted to any size and uses simple crochet techniques and textured surface slip stitches to create a fun plaid pattern that you will want to pair with every single outfit this winter. So I'm so excited to teach you how to crochet this pattern, so let's go ahead and get started. To make this hat pattern, you are going to need a few different things. You will need 2 colors of worsted weight yarn. I am using Lion Brand Woolies, which is a wool acrylic blend in worsted weight. I'm using the color Gray, Heather, and Denim. And then you'll also need a 6mm crochet hook. I have here one from Furls Crochet, which are my all-time favorite crochet hooks. Now, besides these supplies, what you'll also need is the pattern. There is the free pattern that is available on my blog at the link in the description box below, or you can get this hat pattern along with 11 other patterns ranging from garments to blankets to accessories, all for $20. And you can find that in the Your Everyday Classics collection at the link in the description below. There's so many good things. You'll definitely want to snag that while it is available. So once you have those supplies, then we will go ahead and get started. To begin making the hat, we are going to start with our contrast color, which is the gray in my hat that I am making today. So once you have your color, you are going to start with a slip stitch, and then we are going to chain 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then starting from the 3rd chain from the hook, which is this one right here, we are going to half double crochet 6. So this is our foundation row for our brim of our hat. And this way that I'm showing you today is one of my all-time favorite ways to do crochet hats. I just love this brim. It's stretchy, super easy to make, and it makes your beanie's brim look like you knitted it, which I think is one of the coolest things ever. Okay, once you have this first row of the 6 half double crochets done, we are going to chain 2, and then we are going to turn our work, and then we are going to start doing the 2nd row, which is only going to be done in the back loops only. So whenever you crochet through the back loops only, those are the loops on your crochet stitch that are furthest away from you. So here is the front loop, and then here is the back loop. The back loop is what we will be doing our stitches in for this row. So we're going to insert our hook just through the one loop, the back loop, and then you do your half double crochets like normal, but you just don't go through both loops of the stitches. So then we'll go all the way across doing this in the back loops only. And then we will have our first row of the half double crochets in the back loops only done. So what you'll notice here is that because we did it in the back loops only, it's a little bit raised. So this first row is a little bit raised from this one. This one looks like it's sunken in, and this one looks like it's raised. So it's kind of creating that look of the ribbing of knitting. So then in order to keep that same effect going with our pattern, we are going to chain 2, turn our work, and then this time we are going to go through the front loops only. So those are the loops that are closest to us. So we'll go through that first loop there, and we'll do that all the way across, remembering just to go through that front loop on this row. Just like this, and then you'll see that this row that you just did is raised like the first one, and then the one that you did before through the back loops only is sunken in between the two rows. So what you're going to do to complete the brim is we are going to repeat these last two rows, alternating back and forth between them all the way to the length of our brim, which is 21 inches. If you have a different size head, you don't have to do it that size. You can easily adjust this pattern to really any size you want. You can have it have, like you can do it for a kid's size. You just do the circumference of their head, and then since there's no complicated color work, then you can just do as many stitches as you want around the brim, which I'll show you how to do. So go ahead and make your ribbing for an approximately 21 inches or 34 rows total, and then we will join it together and start on the rest of the hat. Once you are finished with crocheting your brim, it is time to join these ends together so that we can start working in the round. So to do that, what we're going to do is we are going to take each end of this brim and put it right sides together. So that means that the back of this will be the side that's facing you will be the flat side, and then all of the side that shows the ridges is those are going to be against each other like this. Then what you're going to do is you're going to turn it like so, and then we are going to slip stitch through both of these rows in order to join this together. So we will take our hook, put it through the loops on this part, then go do the same on the other side, and then you just slip stitch just like that. Then we are just going to do that all the way down these two rows, just like this. And then when we are all done, we are going to turn this so that the right side is out, so that the ridge side, you can see it. Then what we're going to do is we are going to start working in the round. So how we're going to do that is we are going to start by taking our blue and switching to this color by doing 2 chain stitches with it. So when you switch the color, you're going to pull your yarn so that it tightens up that silver yarn, and then you are able to do your chains. So 1 and 2, and then make sure that silver's tightened up, and then we are going to crochet around this brim. How we'll do that is we will do half double crochets in the top of the brim, and we'll do approximately 2 stitches per row of the brim. So you'll see there's the brim row right here, so you'll do 1 stitch here and 1 stitch here, and you do the same on this next row, and you'll go all the way around till you get right back to those chain stitches that we did at the beginning, and then we'll just start crocheting like normal in the round. Once you are finished completely crocheting around the brim of your hat, then you will join to this chain 2 at the beginning of the round with a slip stitch and complete your row. So the pattern that you'll do for this hat is you will do 4 rounds of the blue and then 1 round of silver. Now you might be thinking, okay, am I going to have to rejoin this silver color here or whatever contrast color you're using? Well, I've got a little trick for you today on how to carry your yarn up to where you need it. So I don't like weaving in extra ends. I don't like joining when I don't need to. So what I do is that whenever I do a round, then I will carry the yarn for 1 stitch. So I'll put my hook around it like so, and then I do my normal stitch, and then I have carried this up 1 row. So then you will do this on each of the rounds till you need it after you do 3 more of the blue. So I'll show you in the next clip what it'll look like all done, but if you use this simple little trick, then you won't have to join your silver yarn each time you need it for the rest of the hat. So as you do the crocheting for this beanie, what you will do is you will do 4 rows of half double crochet in your main color, which is the blue. Then you will switch to doing the silver color right here, which is my contrast color, for just 1 row, and then you repeat this section 2 more times. So once again, that's 4 rows of the half double crochet in the blue, 1 row of the silver, and then you repeat that. So this is how your beanie will look when you are all done with it. You can of course make it taller if you want to, just add a couple more rows to it if you'd like it to be taller. And then once you have this all finished, then we will start on doing the surface slip stitching to create the plaid pattern for this hat. Once we are done with crocheting the body of our hat, then we are going to start doing the surface slip stitching for the hat. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your crochet hook and take your contrast color for your hat, and we're going to grab this yarn here, and then we are going to thread it through the hat so that it is on the inside. And you'll see here I've done some of the stripes just to show you what it looks like when it's done. And so what we'll do here is we will do the next one of just the single stripes here. So I spaced my stripes 4 stitches apart, but you can have them as close or as far as you want. I've got groupings of 3 rows right here, and then a 1 row, and I really like the way this contrasts. So what we'll do is we'll go to the 5th stitch away from this stripe there, and if you're just starting new on your hat, then you can start anywhere and continue this striping pattern. But since we are continuing off of what's already done, I'm going to just insert my hook through the V of that stitch, and then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab my yarn, and sometimes it gets a little tricky, not gonna lie, this first starting out point, and then I'm going to pull it through that stitch. So this is my very first loop here. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to I'm going to skip over this row, and I am going to follow along with the stitches that go along this row here. So one of the ways that I kind of measure that out is I'll look here on my next row of the contrast color, and I'll go, okay, this is the 5th stitch away from this last stripe I did, so I am going to follow along the stitches here to do my surface slip stitches till I get to this point. So then what you'll do is you'll skip over this row, you're going to insert your hook, and I'll show you what it looks like on the inside here. Then we're going to grab our yarn, pull it up, and then you pull it through that loop there, and that forms your first surface slip stitch. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do it again, go into the next row, grab that yarn from underneath, pull it up and through the loop, and then we continue doing this, skipping over a row, coming up and doing that loop, and just keep going like this. Sometimes the stitches will get a little bit off, and you can always correct it if you notice your stripes are not lining up with where you intended them to be. Sometimes that happens with me, and I just end up taking it out. But this is basically just how you do surface slip stitches. You just go all the way down doing these slip stitches by skipping over the rows and then bringing that contrast color back up, and you go all the way down to the brim of the hat. And then what I do is then I fasten off my yarn once I get to the very end here, and sometimes I do an extra stitch just to make sure that it stays secure when I fasten it off. And then I grab my scissors, we're gonna trim this right here, and then I pull up the yarn again just to fasten this off. And that is how you do one of the plaid stripes on here. So then once again, the pattern that I do is I do a group of 3 and 1. I space them out 4 stitches apart, and then that way I have a nice even pattern all the way around. So you can just go ahead and do these stripes all the way around your hat to create this really cool plaid effect using the surface slip stitches. Once you are all done with the stripes on your hat, then we are going to work on closing this up. What you'll need to do is to thread a tapestry needle or yarn needle, whatever you're using, with a strand of yarn and tie a knot at the end. Then we're going to come up here on the hat and we're going to go through one of these first stitches, pulling our yarn through, and then we are going to use a basting stitch to go all the way around the hat in order to close it up. So how you do that is you just insert your needle in through the hat and then go about over 2 stitches and then come out again. So you just weave it in and out like this and then pull it. And then if you want to tighten, the great thing about a basting stitch is it's very stretchy, so you can have it loose, and then when you want to tighten it up, you can cinch the hat right up. So we'll just go all the way around in order to close this up. After we've gone all the way around with the basting stitch, then we will tighten this up by pulling our strand of yarn, and then if you want to further close up this hole, what I like to do is I will thread my needle through some of these opposite sides of the hat, and I'll weave back and forth a few stitches just to close up that hole more. The nice thing is that if you're using a faux fur pom-pom, you don't really have to worry about there being a hole on the top because it'll cover it up. And then once you have gone far enough, then you can insert your needle back through the top of the hat, being careful, unlike what I did here. So you'll go back through the hat like this, and then we will fasten this off by doing a few loops around here and then pulling that needle like so, and then trimming this, and then the hat is all closed up. Once your hat is all seamed up on the top of it and your stripes are all done, if you would like to, you can add a faux fur pom-pom to the top of your hat. I have a faux fur pom-pom that has tie-ons, so then I just tie it to the top of my hat here. But if you don't like faux fur pom-poms, or you just don't want a pom-pom at all on your hat, you don't have to add that at all. Remember, this pattern is totally customizable to you, so you can do it in whatever colors, whatever size, and whatever look that you want to do for your hats. Now, I hope that you enjoyed this crochet pattern. If you did, be sure to hit the like button below and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any of my upcoming pattern tutorials and crochet videos here on my channel. I am so excited to keep sharing more patterns with you, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. See you next time. Bye.